So we have Dion Johnson here, a womanologist and leader for women and empowering women and also empowering humanity, right? So could you introduce yourself a little bit as well? Because I know I haven't encompassed all that you've done in that introduction.
Oh, we'll get to it all. But my name's Dion Johnson, also known as the Womanologist, as you heard. I'm a mummy, I'm a grandmother, and I'm passionate about women and the difference that women who are feeling well and whole and good about themselves can make. And I believe that we really need womanity right now in our world, in every facet of our world where everything just seems upside down. We don't know which way is up right now. It's confusing. There's a lot of shaking going on. I really believe that women are a key to our next normal, our, what we create out or coming out of this shaking. So that's why I'm here.
I invited you to this interview, which I've never actually interviewed before. Dion, like, you're my first interviewee and my first on my new group, right? But I listened to your book, and we've known each other for quite a while now.
Yeah.
In the network and I've listened to your book, and it transformed parts of me. So I was just like, we have to share this, right? And what you were talking about there about womanity and the transformation, like, I am absolutely in alignment with you on that, right?
Yeah.
And so, I sent you some questions, right? Being a newbie interviewer here.
Yeah.
But I just want to rush to this question. Basically, let me look at it. It was the one about the separation, habit number 2 in your book. And you mention about the re-empowerment of women in that chapter. And you start to reveal how man can become separate from the source, which is love, which is nourishment and nurturing. And women have this beautiful innate ability to connect to the source. And the source to you is God.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe in God as well, and I know people like to name it in different names.
Yeah.
Just between me and you here, how can women become that re-empowered that they then can align themselves with empowering that change?
Yeah. So your question's really loaded. So let's just break it down a bit. So first of all, I don't want to alienate anyone that doesn't believe in God or that word is triggering. So if you're one of those people watching who's just like, oh my God, rolling your eyes and thinking, oh, I'm just about to switch off because we're talking about God, hold on a minute. When I say God, what I'm really referring to is the universal intelligence, creative. Gone, Jennifer, gone. This universal creative intelligence, spiritual law. I'm talking about spiritual law, the laws that govern success or failure, the law that says what works and what doesn't work, what's good and what's not good, what makes things go the way that they go. So that might be love for some people, it might be universe, it might be my higher self, it might be whatever it is that you call. Just when I say God, you
intuition as well.
This.
Yeah. Some people feel it as intuition, especially women, don't we? We know.
Yeah. Like, this is not an argument about. I'm not trying to get you to come to church or read your Bible.
Me neither.
But I do believe that there are these laws that govern wellness, success here on earth, that are rooted in the spiritual intelligence. And I believe that as human beings, we have a natural side, like we're physically here, but that we have a spiritual side, that has the ability to connect with this other place where new answers are, where new ways are, where laws are, where our success lies, and that we need to walk in both. We need to be able to connect with our natural surroundings, our natural day-to-day interactions, but that if we leave out that other part of ourselves, the part that taps into love, then it makes what happens here among us rocky. It makes it shaky. And I think that when I look at what's happening in our world right now, I can see the shaking. Like, you'd have to be a blind man living in a cave under the ocean to not be able to see the shaking right now. People are suffering, people are crying, people are committing suicide, people are depressed, marriages are falling apart, children are estranged from their families, children are in mental institutions, people can't read, people can't communicate, people are isolated, lonely, in pain. These are signs that something's not okay.
And how can women become re-empowered to make the change that you know we can do?
So these things are not okay, and the answer is, what's it going to take for us to be okay again? And I believe that we and our systems need to tap back into love, tap back into God, get realigned with the laws that govern success in its biggest frame. And I believe that that's why women are here. I believe that women are wired, are built to, first of all, tap into that realm very, very easily, and then teach mankind, humanity, how to live connected in that way. So this is not a religious talk, this is a spiritual connection talk. This is about helping humanity. I believe women are called to help humanity to stay plugged into that love. Now, are we doing that yet? Well, what I've learned on my own personal journey and working with women is that a lot of us are detached from our ability to tap into that realm, and definitely we have lost our connection with our voice and our ability to influence humanity. And so that's what my work is about. It's about helping us as women to heal our connection with our source and bring what we know to be right and true and love plugged in to our leadership, whether that be leadership in the home or leadership in our community or leadership in the marketplace, whatever it is that we're leading. That our role, I believe, as women is to teach the world how to be fair and loving and just.
Is that where womanity come from?
Yeah.
The phrase womanity.
So womanity is it's just like, I believe that women are distinct from men. I believe that women and men are both human, but that the masculine is an energy that's required for success, and the feminine is an energy that's required for success. And I believe that the masculine is, men are the stewards of the masculine, even though we all as human have masculine energy, and that women are stewards for the feminine, and we all have feminine energy. Men and women have feminine energy. So women, I believe, are called to help humanity to understand the use and bring the feminine, the womanity, I say, as a play on words, to leadership, to whatever it is that we're doing. Women are the stewards of that, and that we really need to learn how to tap back into that. That's what my work is really all about. That's what the book's about. It's about how do we tap into this womanity so that we can help the world be more successful.
Yeah, and you talk about the marketplace king in your book. share a little bit about what that means to you.
So, so our world is governed by systems. A marketplace is governed by systems. And right now, our system, the way that we do things, the way that we operate, the way that we function, our system is not a thing, it's human. Like, people make up this system. Living human beings make up this system. We talk about it sometimes like it is a inanimate object, like, so we blame the system and as if it's something outside of ourselves, but actually the system is us. It's people from the top to the bottom. We all kind of function and make this system work. The problem is that this system is creating poorer outcomes for some. It's an unlevel playing field. It denies access to some people. It creates pain and poverty and unjust results and outcomes for some. Some people are sicker than others. Some people are richer than others. Some people have access to better than others. Some people matter more than other people in this way that we have. And as I was writing the book, I wanted to talk about that. And one day through the writing process, it just dawned on me that this system is like a marketplace. It's like a king, it's like a giant king. And what this king says goes. You know, what this king fancies becomes reality. What the king decrees becomes law. So this system, the human system, the way that we all function to create results, is a system, and I liken this system to a king. It's a powerful king, so that if the king says that it's like this, then it's just like this. If the king says that this is not going to happen, then this just doesn't happen. And so the way that this king functions is creating pain the citizens are in pain. There are some people who aren't doing well, and so this king needs a change of heart. And that's where I think the king needs a queen. Because even if you think about in the natural, how a king and queen work, is that the king, the closest person to a king is a queen. The closest person to the queen is in the king's chamber. You know, the queen lies with the king. And so it was an imagery that came really powerfully as I was writing the book, that we as women who lead in high level have close access to influence the heart and the mind of the king, and there's never been a more important time for that influence than now.
So what I can feel from that is what I hear in the voice and out there is equality, 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 but in the call for equality, that I don't see the call for equality in respect for the fact a queen is a queen, a king is a king. And the way that we are is different, but it is equally powerful.
Yeah.
Like you said, I got from your book that the marketplace king is an unbalanced system because it's not let the equal balance and power of woman, womanity, femininity into that structure. So it lacks compassion.
Not just women, not just gender equality, but any kind of equality, racial equality. You know, it's just built on the premise that some people matter and some people don't matter, or some people don't matter so much. And this is what's unequal about the system. Women are part of that. Women have a history. We have a history, I say in the book, of being treated as second-rate citizens, or not powerful, or weak, or unmeaningful, or, you know, dismissible. Like, women have that. We have that history. We've been treated as chattel. We've been owned. We've been burned at the stake. We've got a history, just over hundreds of years, and we have a history in the marketplace too. We entered into the marketplace to, you know, help clean up after the war, and it's taken us a long time to be starting to be even seen as leadership material. So we've been subject to the unequal system, but now, despite our being subject to it, and that really still not having full equality, we're now, I believe, being called to take it broader than just a fight for equality for ourselves, and make it a fairer place for the world, make it fairer for everyone. We've got a big job to do.
So on that, this group is CEO founder mums, right?
Yeah.
And that's who I help with the work I do.
Yeah.
And how would you help them or advise them that have lack of belief? Because me and you, we know
Yeah.
that the woman, you're so powerful. Like, you have a place and a role to step in, and when you're running your own business with children, and it's a challenge. So how would you advise them to get that self-belief and basically it's re-empowering and connecting to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that acknowledging the fear and the unbelief is a big challenge, because most of us, here's what we do, is we find our place and we kind of just stay there. You know, we find where we're comfortable and we stay there. We kind of see where the chips fall and we say that. So some of us are working in this area, and I say to women all the time, how did you get into this? And they say, oh, I just sort of like fell into it. Or, you know, some of us are leading at home, like we're mothers and we're raising our children, and we're wives, or we're doing it by ourselves, and we're just sort of getting on with the process, and we don't really think about what's stopping us or what's the challenges, until we decide that we want to do something more, until we decide that we want to step up. So it's deciding to step up and create something else, create a business, or change something, or see the world, be the change in the world that we want to see. Until we decide to step up, oftentimes we're completely oblivious to these fears and these ways of thinking about ourselves. So if you're feeling the fear, it's a sign that you're stepping up into something. And stepping up and stepping into business is scary for everyone. Like, I don't know, some people make it look okay, but you know, it's scary for everyone. What I say is embrace it, embrace the fears, and don't try and block them out. Oftentimes we let the fear knock us back, and we just say, oh, you know, it didn't work, or, you know, too much like hard work, not going to bother. And sometimes we allow the fear to, you know, just side rail us, and we just take the easier route. We don't bother to build the business to the next level. We settle for a business that isn't profitable. You know, we just do it like a hobby. We don't build it. I say, if you're feeling the fear around developing a business, that's a great sign. It's a sign that you're stepping into the unknown. It's a sign that you're stretching yourself, and this is really powerful. It's not wrong. Being scared, feeling stretched is not a sign that things are not working. I really feel like somebody needs to hear that. Yeah. That every time we're stepping up into something, it's scary for all of us. It feels like we feel like running away. We've got a history that made us wrong for having a voice in the past. Think about that.
Yes.
We've had a history of you know, somewhere in our history, a woman who wanted to assert herself was killed.
Not that far.
Yeah, not that far.
Not that far.
And it's still playing out in different ways right now. A woman who wants to climb, a woman who wants to have an opinion or insist on a change or influence in some way. This is dangerous to the world. It has been dangerous historically. So I don't think it's unfounded. I'm hanging out here in the fear for a bit, because I don't think the fear is unfounded. It's just that when we let the fear stop us, that's where the problem is. And so I say to women, if you're feeling the fear, it's because you're stepping into something that historically would have gotten you killed, and it's okay. But now it's not going to get you killed, but it does risk you self-sabotaging yourself, stepping back because it's too uncomfortable, or feeling like these are evidence that it's not working. Like, this is really important to grasp. And so the way to navigate the fear and keep moving forward, you know, is to develop these habits, is to first of all heal. We have to heal from our history, heal from the thoughts that say, you know, I'm in danger, I'm going to die, or this is wrong, or this is too painful. We have to get our head straight. We have to We have to develop what our belief systems are. We need to think about who we say we are. Oftentimes, our self-esteem is in the toilet. Like, oftentimes, we don't think of ourselves as, you know, we might have this drive in our DNA pushing us to do something powerful in the marketplace and build this business, but we also have the head and the thinking and the mindset that says, I'm not worthy, or I'm not enough, or I don't have what it takes, or I always fail, or I'm no good. So handling our heads is a really powerful part of this process, developing our belief systems and developing the I amness of business. You know, what is it about you that is good for business? And then I say that if we want to develop businesses, we have to develop what we call a hook. And I alluded to it in the book. Our hook is our message. What is it that you want to say? Who do you want to say it to? Why is it an important message? What is your vision for the world? You know, what is it that you want to see? Oftentimes, we don't spend enough time as women in business really getting to grips with what it is that we want to see. Really getting to grips with what it is that we want our business to be a catalyst to change around. Like developing the hook, healing from the history, personal and collective, handling our heads, getting our belief systems and our thoughts and our self-perception straight, and developing our hook, developing our message, developing what it is that we want to say. This is fundamental in building a successful business. And I say we do that by developing the 7 habits.
Yeah, and habit number 4 is wholeness in your book. Yeah. And, you know, the work that this group is about allowing the woman a space outside of all the business, the labels, the everything, to develop that space of wholeness. Yeah. And I'm really interested as well in that collective that you talked about, because not a lot of people think about that. Yeah. A lot of the pain that we're feeling, especially as women, we're very empathetic, we're very sensitive. We feel other people's pain, we feel historical pain. Yeah. And what would be your words of wisdom for taking a moment to take stock of that collective pain?
Yeah, I think that we should just get good at acknowledging our pain, full stop. I think that what we tend to do is just kind of pretend it's not happening, or just try and soldier on, like, you know, put a band-aid on things and just keep soldiering on. And as we're women stepping up into business, it's like the pain gets harder and higher, and we don't know why, but we're still using that same strategy of trying to cover it up, bandage it up, you know, put it away and get on with serving everybody else. And this is the biggest mistake. I just believe that pain is a messenger, that pain comes to tell us something. And whether it's going to tell us something about our collective experience or our personal one, we'll miss the message if we keep trying to brush pain under the carpet and be okay. So that's why a place like yours is really important, because it's a great place where people can start to explore what they're really feeling and be honest about what the pain actually is. Because that beginning is acknowledging the pain. It's like, if I keep getting a headache, I could just keep popping paracetamol, or I could just stop and go, hold on a minute. Why does this headache keep coming? Like, why am I experiencing this pain? When you ask that question, it takes you down your own individual, very unique route, and you will find your answers. And when I've done that, and when I support my clients to do that, I find that it comes back to my story, my stuff, and it's learning. Like, I'm a Black woman. Some of the pain that I discovered myself carrying is my collective experience as a Black woman, as a Black mother, as a Black leader, a Black thinking woman. Like, some of my pain, when I experience the pain in the now, and I decide to allow myself to look at that pain and feel it and explore it and invest in understanding it, then I find myself in all kinds of places. sometimes when I'm working with women, you know, they will be exploring the pain, you know, their conflict with their boss, or, you know, their failure to be moving the business forward, or whatever the pain point is. We discuss the pain, and when we start to take the layers off, we find that, you know, some of this stuff goes back to our childhood. Some of this stuff goes back to, it's just so individual. And I hear women say all the time, oh no, you know, oh, that reminded me, what you said just then reminded me of that, Dion. But, you know, I say, so, okay, let's talk about that. And they say, oh no, that's finished, you know, that was then.
That's to brush it over, you know, put the wounds, cover the wounds up. Yeah.
I say, if it's coming up and if it triggered a memory, if you felt something while we were talking, then it isn't in the past, it's right here and now, and it's come because there's something for you to learn in it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this work isn't for the faint-hearted. You know, we learn about women growing businesses, but we seldom talk about businesses growing women.
Yeah, and that's why I created this space, Dion, because I've done a lot of this journeying as well, and as you know, it continues, it doesn't stop. And recently, the not being heard, and women have this not being heard historically and now. Like I read in your book, women in the boardroom who've got a seat, but they are not being heard.
Yeah.
You know, and when I looked into my surroundings of not being heard, it went back to absolutely multiple of times throughout my childhood and early years where I had not been listened to on very deep subjects. And so I went in, and like you said, it's a message. It's like, hi, do you want to deal with me now? And it never comes unless you're ready.
Yeah.
So it is hard, like you said, but it comes when you're ready.
I feel like we've all got our stories, and we've all got the pain, and the pain is like a powerful invitation to learn something about ourselves as we grow our business. Like, it's like as we step into new levels of business, we hit our thing. We hit the invitation to learn more about ourselves, more about what we're called to be doing. Our business really is a vehicle for our purposeful expression. And so, you know, it's all working out perfectly, but we're not always really good at accepting the invitations to see ourselves, to grow, to learn, to develop, to evolve as women, and evolve as leaders, and evolve as change makers, because that's what all that is about. It's all about the journey. Once you set up for a business, when you say I'm going to start my business, like that is you accepting an invitation to grow and evolve and develop as a woman first, and as a leader, and as a change maker. Like that is what the business journey is going to take you on, and you know, you're being invited to that. But oftentimes that's not what we thought we were signing up for. We thought we were signing up to earn money. We thought we were signing up to, you know, make a living. And so we didn't, the personal side of things, we weren't really that invested in.
And that's why I made this group as well, right? Like, not about what your business is. I'm glad and I'm happy what you're doing, but I know that you're saying that a woman needs a space to be heard, to take that invitation, to answer that call. Yeah.
I think the whole thing is that we're being called, like, you know, we are being called as women to understand who we are, why we're here, what we're about, what we're here to do, who we're here to be, and to be her now. Like in business, be her now in our relationships, be her now in whatever we're putting our hands to, whatever we're putting our heart to. Because without our voice, without our presence, without our authentic presence, the world can't be, without our wholeness, the world can't be right way up. The world can't be whole without our wholeness, without our whole selves being presented. So this is not a woman's lib, you know, women over men. No. It's saying that we cannot be okay until the women's voice comes alongside the king, and you know, and we create a whole. Yeah.
So you have about reframing habit 5, right?
Yeah.
So how would you say, if a woman's just watching this, right, and she's going, right, okay, so I can expand into myself for me as well, not just for the business and everything else. So how can I start to reframe my thoughts around my mission and around also accepting that invitation to become whole?
So let me just explain reframing. So reframing is a habit that I suggested. The book presents 7 habits, and one of the habits is reframing. And what I mean by reframing is that when we find ourselves in professional pain, oftentimes we have a story about what's happening with that. So our story could be an external story, or those people are horrible, or you know, those people don't want me, or those people are you know, just
standoffish.
Whatever. So something about those people there, and we create the story to explain why we're in pain. Or it could be something internal. You know, I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. You know, when are you going to get it into your head, Dion, that this is not, you should just give up and stick with what you know. Better the devil you know. Like all those thoughts, those stories that we have to explain the pain. And oftentimes, our stories are what cause us to quit. So we kind of talk ourselves out. We kind of make it look like there's no way that this is going to work. And so at the end of the day, we quit. Either we quit by actually walking away from something that we really need to be in, you know, something that we're really called to. We're really called to this firm. We're really called to this business. We're really called to this relationship. But our stories make it so that we walk away. We say, oh, this is not going to work. I don't have what it takes, whatever. So reframing is a habit that causes us to find a new story that helps us to stay. To find a new story that helps us to stay. And so the stories that I presented in the book was the story about me realizing that this stuff wasn't shit. So what would happen is I would hear people saying all the time in my client work, and I've been even saying it myself in my own journey, like this is shit. This, you know, I'm going through such shit at the moment. This is horrible. It's stinky. It's hurting me. It's not good. And one day I got the revelation that this is not shit. It's manure.
I remember that in the book.
It's not shit. It's manure. So if you think about manure, any good farmer will tell you that manure is really required for a bumper crop. It's like, if you want to be fruitful, if you want your tree to be fruitful, you need a bit of dung. You need a bit of manure. And so this just happened, you know, just like the heavens opened up, and I was able to see that what I was going through could be perceived as shit, could be perceived as the reason why I need to just run in the other opposite direction, or I could reframe it and I could see it as the very thing that I needed to grow as a woman, leader, change maker. It's the very thing that I needed to develop the kind of muscles to build this business, develop the kind of muscles to make this difference, to make the develop the kind of muscles to be this kind of leader. That this situation that hurts, that stinks, that's scary, that seems to be pushing me back and hindering me, that seems to be threatening my well-being, this very situation could be exactly what I need to find my voice, to grow and develop and evolve. And so that's what I'm presenting to the women that are watching this. That perhaps, what if what you're going through was the training ground, was the exact situation that you needed to practice finding your voice. I say in the book that anything that we're going through that's difficult and challenging is one of three things. Either it's a mirror to help you see how out of line with your true self you're being, or it's an invitation to step up and dig deeper, find your voice, find the true you and bring it to that conversation or that relationship or that situation. Or it is, what's the third one?
Manure.
It's, yeah, about being more you. It's like an opportunity to be more you right now. It's like an invitation to step up, to bring out, to try. So I'll give you an example. I was working with a woman just recently who she was called into a meeting with her bosses, and she said that the panel of bosses, and they were really just, what they were suggesting was really like a pushback. She felt like they didn't welcome her, that they didn't really want her voice in the situation. We've been doing this work, and she decided that her true authentic self was a spokesperson for this issue. She decided that who she really was experienced problem solving. She was a leader. This was who she was. But in that meeting, she found it really difficult because of their attitude and what they were saying. It was a difficult meeting. She felt like she was being got at. She felt like it was that they were pushing her back. She was involved in the power struggle. Well, that was a really painful situation for her. But what we discussed was what a brilliant space for practicing your leadership and practicing your problem solving abilities and practicing your advocacy for this issue. Think about that. Think about if you want to be a better spokesperson. If you want to be a better spokesperson, what better place for you to practice than where your voice is not even welcome?
Yeah. I want to ask you, because we don't have long left, this is flown by. You mentioned habit 7, showing respect in all areas.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're talking about the reframing, and sometimes our story internally can make us behave in a way that's maybe not respectful, and maybe it's the way we're framing it. So, what is the value of us looking into, like in your book, I've said to everybody, you need to go and get your book so they can understand the flow of the habits that you've got in there. Yeah. But what is the value, and what would you say around that complete respect, even if you don't want to?
Yeah, I think I've heard people describe the people that they're working with. One woman said, my boss is a cold, heartless bitch. I don't even think she's got a pulse. Well, okay, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But what I asked that woman, and what I'm asking your viewers, is to consider, how can we as influencers influence people that we don't respect? How are we going to change the heart of the king if we think the king is an asshole? Like, we must learn to respect people. I had a conversation with a client once who came to our meeting exasperated. I write about her in the book, and she sat down and she told me about how no one's sleeping in her house. She said, my daughter, who was going through terrible teens, was causing havoc in the home. She was, really moody. She was picking fights with her siblings. She was turning the world upside down in that house. But she said something really powerful. She said that we've all decided just to love her. She said, we've all decided just to love her through this phase of her life. We're all walking on eggshells. We just decided to give her a wide berth. We just decided to just really support her through this challenge that she's going through. And I said to this woman, funny thing, I've been thinking about your relationship with your boss. And actually, I think that's the kind of attitude, that's the kind of respect that your boss is requiring from you right now. And this woman, she was outraged, like, why would you say that? Like, he's an asshole, like, you know, like, he didn't do his job properly. I sometimes think that the compassion and the respect that we have for people that we don't like very much, that, like, even in our homes, you know, I might not like my husband today, or I might not like my child today, but you don't disrespect them, because respect is due. I think that translates into the business world, you know. And the way that I see this is that you can't influence people if you really don't respect them, and that we have to learn how to find something to acknowledge that's respect worthy about everyone that's in our teams, so that even if we don't want to go and have dinner at their house, that's fine, because it's a professional relationship. But definitely we need to if we can't respect who they are as people, respect that they have something valuable to bring to the mission, respect that they have something valuable to offer the work that we're doing. And
they're human.
They're human, yeah.
We're all human.
Right.
You know, compassion on the baseline that we are all human, and we're made up of our experiences, and, like you said, the social constructs and structures that we've been raised in.
Yeah.
And to make that change and to be a woman of change,
yeah,
then coming with the compassion opens that part, the human part of, like you said, the arsehole. They still have a human part, and like you said, that influence is going to get in. And that's the power of a woman, isn't it?
I think that inequality is fueled by disrespect. I think that inequality is fueled by us only kind of valuing people who look like us or sound like us, you know, or make us feel,
or agree with us.
Or agree with us, right? But the whole point of diversity and the whole point of inclusion is the healing of inequality, is the improving of outcome, is making the mission more successful. So if you're in business because you want to make the mission more successful, you want to level the playing field so that you get the best talent, that you create the best results and create success, then diversity, which is actually respecting people that are not like you, is actually the way forward. And we need to get better at it if we're going to have a better marketplace.
So I'm going to wrap up on the live there, but first, before we do, because I know Jenny's there and wants to ask you some questions. I just want to ask, just to wrap up there, is there anything else you want to share, and what else is happening in the world of Dion that we can all follow and get excited about?
Yeah, I mean, just everybody come check me out on LinkedIn, because everything that I'm doing goes up there first, okay? But what I really want to say is that the world is upside down, and if it's going to turn right side up, then women really have to heal. We really have to handle our heads. We really have to develop our hooks, our message, the thing that we want to grab people's attention with, the thing that we want to influence the world most. So I really want people to be thinking about how to develop these habits that I lay out in the book, that will really draw you into finding your voice and using your voice in business, using your voice in the marketplace, using your voice to make our world right side up and better. And we really need you right now.